What's going on, everybody? This is Terrell with the Committee Sports Group here, and I have someone that I'm really excited to speak to, an amazing individual. You all know her, especially if you're a fan down there in the 803. You know her. Some of us may call her T Wade, Big Shot Money, Big Shot Tiff, all that good stuff, and a pro of pros, Tiffany Mitchell. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So really excited to speak with you today. Obviously a fan of your career. We've been watching you for, it's 10 plus years now, I think. So definitely a long time. And if you're from the Carolina area, definitely watch you at up in Charlotte, and then of course to South Carolina, and then your stops in the W. So I guess walk us through a little bit of your journey through, I guess, as an amateur, and then through collegiate, and now as a pro.
Oh, well, let's see. I don't know how far you want to go back.
We can go. Okay, we can go to not as far back as having the poster of Dawn on in the Charlotte thing
Okay.
on the wall. Maybe around your recruitment period, and then
Okay.
your college experience.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I went to Providence today in Charlotte. So it's a private school. It's a K through 12. So it's like the entire like kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. It's all in one spot. So I went there for about 7 years. I started when I was in middle school. That's kind of when my recruitment started with colleges. Didn't wait till I get to high school. I got my first offer when I was in 8th grade. So it was just pretty cool. Like my recruitment, like I said, it started pretty early. So I was kind of introduced to just like coaches and like, the next level pretty early, and like me, just paying attention to what I want to do if I want to be a professional, even in college before I got there, it started pretty early for me. And then once I had a pretty successful, of course, like you're in middle school at this point, so you can't really tell in which direction if I'm going to be a pro or not. I mean, maybe some people can tell, but I'm just out there just having fun at this point in my life. Basketball was just fun for me. I never really saw it as something that, I would want to do for the rest of my life. But as I got older, of course, developed some skill and passion for the game. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And, in order to take that next step to be professional, you have to go be recruited in college and stuff like that. So when I got to high school, that's when I got a lot of offers from, a lot of the ACC, the SEC, and Dawn was in there pretty early, making her rounds, making her mark, making sure that she stood in my head. My mom loved her from the jump. Of course, I did too. Like I said, just from growing up watching her play. But I mean, my journey was kind of up and down. So like when I was a freshman in high school, I tore my ACL. So I saw all the recruitment kind of come to a hold and a stop, because when you're that young, again, like you don't really know what's about to happen, how I'll come back as a player. It's just too early to kind of tell. So a lot of coaches kind of fell off. And what, pushed me to go to South Carolina is Dawn. She stayed the whole way, through, injury. Like she stayed loyal. Loyal was big to me. Those coaches that, were recruiting me before my injury, and then saw that I got injured and I didn't hear from them. I remember that, as a kid, and it sticks with you. So for me, knowing that, Coach Teddy kind of stayed around through all of that and still recruited me past it, it just meant a lot to me. And it was a no brainer, for me to commit to South Carolina. And then at South Carolina, now I'm a freshman all over again, just trying to find my way. End up just kind of just working my way into the starting position and wanting to stay there. At that point, I think that's the first time I got, when we went to the Sweet 16, I think my first year.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a taste of the tournament, my first year a starter, yeah, as a freshman. So I'm getting everything kind of just thrown at me, kind of thrown into the fire, and I just got to figure it out. So I think she trusted me enough to be that person, to just kind of figure it out. She knew my work ethic and knew like I wanted to try to, get to the next level and take this team to the next level as much as possible. So that's exactly what I did. After my freshman season, I just got in the gym. Like I knew my weaknesses and how people were playing me my freshman year, and I didn't want to come back, the same person. So I just worked my ass off and trying to change how people played me and just how I approached the game. And then from there, my sophomore year, my junior year, took off. Winning the SEC Player of the Year. I never imagined that happening, but I also wasn't surprised. I knew the work that I put in the off season, in the summers, and just sacrifice. Not even going home, even though I was only in Charlotte and I'm down the road. I stayed on campus just so I could, work out and have access to the gym whenever I wanted. So I was in the gym 2 a.m., 4 a.m., just whenever I wanted to. That was the type of person I was. And I just wanted to be the best. And, it worked out for me. And then we had, the team that I had was amazing. Just making it to our first Final Four. Like, everything was just kind of like a fairy tale to me. But at the same time, like I said, I wasn't surprised because I knew, the sacrifices that I made and like the work that I put in, and I knew eventually it was going to show.
So, you were a little modest, so I'm going to tell everybody. You mentioned an SEC Player of the Year, but you actually were back-to-back SEC Player of the Year, the SEC Tournament MVP in 2016. You were 3-time All First Team SEC. You, in the middle of your college journey, you also won a 3-on-3, a 3x3 World Championship. Is it Russia, if I'm not mistaken? So, like, you were balling, and so all of those accolades. You recently had the experience of having your jersey retired. What was that like to come back and you're forever in the rafters?
Yeah, it was just such a surreal moment for me. Like I said, just committing to South Carolina when I'm 16 years old, like I never imagined, walking into the gym now and forever seeing my name hanging up there. So it definitely was emotional, of course, like having my family there and just everybody that supported me throughout my career in South Carolina. Everything just kind of came back and hit me once I saw, the jersey going up into the rafters. But it took so many, like I said, so many sacrifices and a lot of things that people don't see behind doors, the injuries coming up, the adversities, a lot of obstacles that was faced, that people don't know. They see the product that's on the court, and they just don't understand, what an athlete really goes through on a day-to-day basis, especially in college, because we have so much other stuff that we have to do on top of being a top level athlete. So you're still being a student, you still want to, be a college person. So it's just a lot that you still have to navigate and still being able to accomplish something like this. It was just amazing feeling to see it hanging up there.
I love that. And you talked about adversity and injuries. I think before your senior season, there was a foot injury, right? That to some of the I guess the experts may have hampered your start to your senior season, and then which may have caused you to drop in the WNBA draft. But I remember draft night, those red bottoms. You were there, and then you got a chance. You heard your name be called, and you were going to Indiana and getting the chance to play with the legendary. Like you're one of the only people who can say I played with Catch in her last season. So
crazy.
Getting drafted, going to the Fever. What was that experience like of the draft, and then being able to also play with Catch her last year, and y'all made it to the playoffs?
Man, just like I said, my whole senior season was a roller coaster. I had broke my foot that summer. So my first time even running up and down the court was the first game of the season. So I was still low key rehabbing throughout the season and still trying to get back. I just knew I didn't want to miss my senior season. Of course, knowing, my aspirations of being a pro, that's something that I didn't want to give up. So, I tried my hardest to make sure that I was on the court. Some games looked better than others my senior year, but that was just me trying to get acclimated again. Like I low-key had to learn how to walk again. After I broke my foot, like I couldn't jump over a sheet of paper a month before I started playing again. So it was just a lot my senior season. But I was still, fortunate and thankful enough that the work that I put in, prior to that, still held weight and just they didn't base, everything off of just one season. Of course, dealing with that type of injury, again, going to the next level, you don't know how that person's going to pan out. So like I said, I'm just really thankful for Indiana to still trust me enough to draft me. Draft night was definitely hectic. The anxiety was through the roof. When you're just sitting there waiting for your name to be called, and of course you see the draft boards throughout the season, and you see your name up here. I try not to look. I tried my hardest not to look at it. Tried not even get on social media, but it was impossible. Like so many people were like tagging me and stuff. Like I looked at it sometimes. So just kind of just sitting there. At that point, it's not in your hands anymore. Like the season's over. What's done is done, and you just gotta hope a team trust and believes you enough to draft you to their team. So you know, like I'm super thankful for, you know, Indiana giving me, sorry, oh, what happened?
You're back.
Okay, I think somebody called me. Sorry. Oh my God.
It's fine. It's fine. We can edit all
I,
that out.
okay. They calling me. But no, like I said, I'm super thankful for Indiana for trusting me, you know, and turning my dreams to reality, becoming a professional. And one of the first calls was Tamika, you know, once I got drafted to Indiana. So it was crazy. Like, I watched WNBA when I was younger.
Mhm.
So I knew exactly who Tamika Catchings was. Like, I was a huge fan, and just knowing that I was going to have the opportunity to play with her in her last season. It's really, you can't, like, no one can say that. Like, I was a rookie still playing with Tamika Catchings. I joke with her all the time because, you know, I told her when she was drafted to Indiana, I was in first grade, which is crazy.
Wow. Like when you put it like that, that's wow. Okay.
I literally was in first grade and she was drafted that same year to Indiana. So the fact that she stayed in the league that long for me to be able to play with her, I mean, it just shows the type of player and legend that she is and what she did for the game of basketball. So I was super fortunate to, you know, just to even be around her on a day-to-day basis and see how, you know, she carried herself as a professional. Like I felt like I carried myself as a professional in college. But being around someone like Tamika, I knew there was a completely different level than what I wasn't doing. So I was really fortunate enough to be on a team in Indiana my rookie year, just with a bunch of vets. You know, I think I was actually the only rookie to stay on the team the entire season. So I was the youngest by like 4 or 5 years in my first year. So, you know, my transition into the league was helped, of course, by Coach Staley and being coached by her and knowing, you know, what to expect the next level. But then once you're there and you're around it, and you have all these older players around you, like you have no other choice but to kind of be a sponge and just learn and just try not to mess up.
Okay. And so obviously, you know, going through high school and college as a successful player, and in college during the 4 years, you only lost 18 games. So out of 4 years, you lost 18 games. That's what, like that's an average of maybe 4.5 games a year, maybe. So you're used to winning. And so
Mm-hmm.
obviously that rookie year, you made the playoffs, but then those
Yeah.
years after, it was quite a challenge. What does that do to someone of your pedigree and your experience to go from winning to now really trying to help rebuild?
Yeah, you know, for me it was tough in the beginning. Like I am definitely a sore loser. I don't take losing well at all. I show it all on my face. I try to work on it. My body language is not that good when we're losing, especially, you know, the amount of times that we're losing. Like a couple games here and there, it's okay. Like it happens, it's basketball, but like at the rate that we were losing, it's very hard to, you know, as a competitor to be okay with that. And I think, you know, it just showed like we are at the highest level and it's very hard to win, you know, no matter, you know, who's on that court, you know, the team that's out there together in the five, it's hard. You know, the W is hard, and that transition for our team, like when it came to different like coaches, management, players, like we were all still trying to figure that out, and still trying to win games. And it was just really hard to do. And it became, you know, just a trend. And we just couldn't figure it out, you know, some of those years. And when we did figure it out, it was a little bit too late. So, you know, for me, like I said, it was just really hard. You know, the only thing I could worry about at that point was to make sure, you know, what I was doing was right and improve myself. And, you know, that ultimately improves the team. So I had to kind of go that route to make sure, you know, I wasn't the person, you know, that, you know, was the loose screw in the group. So at that point, like it's kind of beyond me when it comes to like who's there, how you put together the team. Like I said, I just approached it more so to make sure that, you know, I was doing what the team needed me to do to be successful, and the coach and the organization.
Okay, okay. And so do you have a welcome to the WNBA moment? Like maybe
Hmm.
you went up against somebody and you're like, wait a minute, hold up, they got me there. Or like if you were
um,
struck, maybe what was that moment like?
I would say, so like I said, my rookie year, I was the only rookie on my team, and I ended up starting a lot of the games because of injury to like just people in front of me. So it was like, all right, this person went out. this person went out, so it's like round, like, oh, I guess it's Tiffany's turn. So I'm like, shoot, like, all right, come on, like, let's get it. I'm kind of just throwing out there. I'm just hooping at this point. Like, I'm just out there kind of on vibes. Like, I'm just excited to be on the court and end up just kind of doing my thing in the beginning of the season. So when we played, it's crazy full circle. When we played Minnesota, our starters were out, and I think Stephanie White was my coach my rookie year. And she was like, okay, like, you starting on Maya. I'm like, no, like, there's no way. I'm like, in my head, I'm still kind of starstruck, like, I've never seen Maya more in person. I've always just watched her on TV, and those type of games as a rookie, you don't know if you're going to even get in the game.
Right.
So the fact that
so that time they were the defending champs. They had just won the season.
Yeah, I'm coming in just cheering my teammates on, making sure they get to it, and injury, and then it's like, well, the person up next is Tiffany. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I gotta play it cool though. I can't act like like what's going on in my head. I'm like, oh my God, like, I literally have to start on mine. And I feel like I started on her, and she probably made every single shot. Like, so that was definitely and then I'm like, all right, let's switch off. My switch off was to Simone Augustus. So I'm like, oh, like, it's as a rookie, and those two as someone like you don't. I didn't catch a break that game at all. So that definitely was my welcome to the W. Like, these are the type of guards that I aspire to be and want to be like. But it just showed me a different level of basketball that I'm like, I'm not at, but it's giving me something that I want to get to.
You was getting your cardio in that game because they don't stop moving. They don't stop moving.
I swear, Maya didn't stop moving. I promise you, she didn't stop one time. I'm like, she's not human.
Okay, so now you've had a chance to play with some Hall of Famers, some future Hall of Famers for sure. Who's been your favorite teammate? Maybe not necessarily for anything that they've done on the court, but whether it's just like you were going out and that's hey, it's time, we got an off day, we're going to get some smoothies or go on to brunch,
yeah,
or, just relaxing or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say when I was in Indy, probably Benija. Like, that's my girl. And we played overseas together, so we just connected. Like, we played in Indy together, then we went overseas. And we just became more so like sisters after that. Like, the ups and the downs, of her career, and just seeing how successful she did once she left Indy. It was amazing though. So I mean, like, being able to play with her, and learn from her too. Like, I just learned so much from being around her and how she approached the game, just her mindset. Even, to this day, like, when we played each other, we played New York, we'll still go out to eat together. After games, hang out, and, just talk about life. It's a lot bigger than basketball with me and B. So she's definitely somebody that I consider family now, and, like, I love like a sister.
I love that. And that's a perfect segue. You talk about playing together overseas. So we usually do see you dominating overseas. I mean, we follow your journey. I want to say you've been to Turkey, Israel, Israel, and then I know Australia for quite some time. Those purple jerseys were, those are nice over there. So
yeah.
You've had so much success over there. You've won all these accolades. What's the difference in terms of the level of play, or maybe, I guess, the systems that you've noticed, compared to the WNBA and then overseas?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said. It's more so the system. I think, the teams overseas, they recruit, Americans to come and try to lead their team. So my role in the W versus overseas is completely different. In the W, I'm doing, what that team and what I need to do to stay on that team. So if that's, come in and be a defender and, get 5 assists, 5 points, then that's what I'm going to do, because that's how I'm going to help the team. Overseas, my mindset changes, and I'm just more aggressive because I know they brought me over here to be a leader, to score. The ball is in my hand a lot of the times overseas, a lot more than it is in the W. So in the W, I have to kind of just be strategic on kind of how, I approach the game, because it's more so about the team and what that team needs each year. My role on each team in the W each year, it changes. So, I go into the season just seeing, what would I need to do, want to stay on this team and to also, have this team to be successful. And then which kind of, puts a leash on some of the things that I'm used to doing is my natural game. But it has to change and adapt to that actual team. While I'm overseas, I don't think about any of that. Overseas,
go.
Overseas, I'm just trying to get a bucket,
I feel
so
it.
which way that comes, that's how it's gonna, that's what's gonna happen. So I have a little more freedom, I would say, overseas to kind of just be the person, the player that I know that I am, and what, all those hours that I spend in the gym. I think you see it shows, once I go overseas more so than in the W. But I'm sure the coaches know, like, I am capable of doing that. But for this actual team, this is what I need to do.
Okay, and so do you feel like because obviously the W is it's a superstar driven league, and so it's a 12 man, sometimes roster, 12 woman roster, or teams. There are some teams that only can carry 11, and so positions sometimes, or roles on the team can always change. So what else have you done that's made you a steady force? Do you think because of the leadership that you've been able to show overseas, and you're able to bring that to a locker room? Because now you are one of those vets. No one maybe in first grade yet while you were drafted. You have some that were probably in elementary or middle school when you were drafted. So what is it that you've been able to find within yourself to allow you to always, have a spot on a team?
Yeah, I think it's just my ability to adapt. I think I'm very versatile. I'm not somebody that's like a volume shooter. Only thing you're gonna get from me is me shooting. I think I do a little bit of everything well, which can be good or bad depending on the team. And I also think it's about situation. In the situation that you're in. On one team, what I'm doing, it might not work. I go to the next team and do the same exact thing, and I'm one of the best players on the team. So I think it's just based on, that system and that coach, just figuring out, that player's strength and seeing if it fits in their system. Because sometimes you have a good player who just doesn't fit in that exact system. But for me, I don't wait and allow for, to see if I'm going to fit into the system. I fit myself in the system. So
I need to give it something. I like that.
Yeah. Basically, I'm gonna this gonna work one way or the other. I'm gonna work. If I'm here, it's gonna work. So I'm gonna figure out, like, look, if I don't need to do this, then I won't do it. If you need me to do more of this, then okay, I'll work on it. If I'm not good at it, and I'll make sure that now you can't say she doesn't do this, she doesn't do that, because I worked on it. I changed to fit the system to make sure that it does work. So I think for me, that's kind of just been my bread and butter, just making sure that I just do what I need to do to be on that team, whatever that is. I'm able to adapt. I mean, it's another example, just like this season being switched to the point guard. Like, haven't been
you
a
read
point
my
guard.
list of questions because I was literally going to go there next. So keep going.
Okay. So I mean, like, leading into that, like, I didn't come into Minnesota thinking I was going to be the starting point guard. No idea. Like, we talked about it, of course. Spotting point here and there. Like, I'm able to help bring the ball up, but how last season went, I never imagined going into this season that I would actually be starting each game, at the point. So, and also, starting half the season, coming off the bench half of the season, playing 30 minutes, playing 5 minutes, that's very hard to do as a professional, and always being able to stay ready. So I think, coaches value those type of players, that it doesn't matter if she puts me in a game for 35 minutes and the next game I'm playing 3 minutes. It's like, it's her attitude going to change. Is, her body language going to change. She's still that Tiffany, that the same Tiffany that's hype and excited when she's playing 35 minutes versus when she's playing 3. She's still a good teammate. She's still cheering. So those things all come into play more so than I feel like my actual performance on the court. I don't want to be a cancer to any team if it's not going my way. So I just try to figure out ways to make sure that I'm always being productive and giving something to the team, whether it's scoring, whether it's cheering, whether it's just, making sure everybody cool, my leadership. I think I've just found ways to kind of, make sure it's very hard to make sure I'm not on your team.
See, I like PG Tiff because you pulled out some things this past season. I was like, no, wait a minute. I can't imagine like some of these passes, and like I was like, wow, we may get used to seeing that a lot more often. But you also spoke about adaptability, because there have been times when you've been a 3. Depending on the switch, I've seen you guard some 4s. So do you like those challenges?
Absolutely. I definitely hang my hat on the versatility that I can bring. And like I said, this season I felt like added another layer to what I didn't even think I could do. So, I appreciate Cheryl for trusting me enough for kind of just putting me in that position and, telling me to go figure it out. But, that's kind of the same thing that, Coach Staley did when I was younger.
Mhm.
She just gave me a spot. He was like, look, this is what we need you to do. Figure it out. So I guess they know that's the type of person I am. My personality is like, I'm not gonna fail. I'm gonna figure it out one way or the other. There definitely was games where I felt like I didn't know how to play basketball at all. Learning a new position, my 8th year in the league with a team that I feel like needed like a true point guard. I just did the best that I could. And there was games where, I felt like I was freaking Ricky Rubio out there, just,
Listen,
diving him.
I feel it.
I'm over here giving passes like I'm just feeling good. So I think that, like I said, it just shows my versatility. Being able to guard 1 through 4, being able to play, 1 through 3. I don't think I'm gonna play the 4. I don't got time for all of that. Overseas, maybe in the W, definitely not about to be down, not gonna catch me down there. But yeah, it just shows my versatility, and I definitely accept all those challenges.
Okay. And we're almost done. Not gonna hold you too much longer. But you recently had an experience of playing with REG, and
Mm.
so the Rwandan team. Excuse me. What did you take away from that, and what was that experience like for you?
That experience was amazing. Honestly, it kind of just came up. I took some time from being overseas and wanted to kind of just chill and enjoy an off season. Finally, this would be my first off season since being the W. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And then this opportunity came up, to play with the African team and go to Egypt and play as well. So it was only a couple weeks, a little tournament, a little African FIBA tournament. So I was like, okay, like that'll be fine, it'll be cool. It's another opportunity to play basketball and see the world. But once I got out there, man, it was just eye opening, honestly, to see different cultures and just how basketball just brings everybody together. We all speak basketball. Everybody, like, if you play basketball, like that language, we all speak when we're on the court. So like I said, just seeing a different or the culture and how they moved and how they got along and how they talked to each other, it was so cool. Just to see and be around and being able to go to Egypt and see the pyramids, ride the camels. I had an amazing time. Honestly, the girls on the team were amazing. I got over there and it literally felt like I've known them for like a year already. So everything it was super cool, and I had a great time and experience.
Okay. And so you mentioned having this off season, so you decide to play AU as well. So
Mm-hmm.
was it like a quick yes, or was it a slow yes? Obviously it's a yes, but what
Mm-hmm.
into your decision to play AU, and what was that conversation like? Obviously you're playing with some people who have been former teammates
Mm-hmm.
in the past. So what was that like for you? And what are you looking forward to with this AU season?
Yeah, like I said, so I was at home, just trying to figure out, what I wanted to do. I just recently moved to Dallas and bought a house out here. So when I decided to just not go overseas for the rest of the season, I learned that AU was going to be in Dallas again. So of course, I have a lot of friends that played last year. So I kind of just got in contact and telling them like I'm going to be here. Probably not going to go overseas again. And it's just a good opportunity to, have competitive basketball before the W season starts. It made sense for me because I live here and it's in Dallas. So it's like, why not, go to and play for 4 weeks? That's down the street from where I live. So it was an easy yes for me. If it was an easy yes for them. So I knew that's something that I wanted to do and still, compete and play basketball. Because at some point, working out and going to the gym every day, it helps, but nothing gets you really in shape and ready to play, other than actually going up and down and playing 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm. And so you talked about going to the gym every day and playing. Is there something special that we haven't seen yet, or that you're looking to work on and perfect in your game? Like, what is one goal that you have? Like, I want to do this better.
Yeah. So for me, I think what you'll see probably me doing more of, and hopefully it's more consistent, is my 3-point shot. I know a lot of teams and how they play me. I know I can get to the rim pretty easily, pretty fast. So that's something that I can do naturally. So now I have more time to work on just knocking down threes. Can I shoot them? Yes, but for me, I want to be more consistent with the rate that I make them, which means I'm going to have to take them. So I feel like for me, I second guess sometimes just because I know what I want to do and what my go-tos are. When a 3-point shot might be the best shot on the court. So it's just me being more confident, knocking it down. So I feel like going into AU and to the W season, you'll definitely see me taking more and hopefully making more.
And with the way the AU point system is set up, those threes could help you on the leaderboard. So you'll definitely have an opportunity to take them.
Issue from half court.
Okay, half court. I love it. All right, so we always see you in the gym. Your body is sick. I'm catch me next summer. My summer body's on. So summer 2025, I'm lock and loaded. I'm gonna get on your level. But
I got
you. We know you as just this fitness guru. If you could give me your 3 brands that you would want to partner with and be like, yes, that's who.
Ooh, I would probably say Gymshark for sure. I love their clothes, just how they fit. I have a lot of my own, so I feel like if I could partner with them to be sponsored, to be like a Gymshark athlete, that would be really cool. Also, another company, a clothing company, is Athleta. I think their clothes are nice too. I think Monique Billings actually works with them too. So I like just seeing her and knowing like they support women's basketball, I think is really huge for me, and I would love to be a part. And also like a supplement company, probably EHP Labs. So they have a ton, greens, probiotics, glutamine, all of that for your digestive system. Those probably be the top 3 that I would want to partner my name with. So that would be pretty cool.
In there. Okay, I love it. And you know what? We believe in manifestation and putting out in the atmosphere, especially if you're from the South. So we're going to speak those things and it's going to come to pass. So I think the last thing before we let you go, what is it about Tiffany Mitchell that you want people to, like, if they ask, what do you stand for and what is one word to describe you, and to kind of expound on it a little bit, what is that thing?
One word, let me see, about never describe me. Let's see. I would just say,
or it could be a phrase.
A phrase, okay. I think I would describe myself as somebody who is just super like ambitious, like a go-getter, like I feel like that's how I approach everything. I just want to be successful, whatever that I put my mind to. And I do feel like anything that I tell myself I want or that I want to do, I make it happen. So, I mean, you can call me Mrs. Make It Happen. That's a phrase right there. I'm gonna get it done. I don't know how sometimes, but like most time, like if I have, even like I had conversations with my mom sometimes, we're talking about me growing up and just saying like different things that I did. I'm just like, I don't know how I did that and like why, but I'm like, it happened and it worked. And I'm like, for me, when I put my mind to something, I'm not gonna let it go until it gets done. So I think that's definitely how I approach basketball and just life in general. Like I'm gonna get it done one way or the other.
I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to be in Dallas sometime this season, so I definitely can't wait to support you, of course, and watch you ball out and hit them threes from the half court. Definitely appreciate your time and looking forward to it and wishing you much success this season for AU as well as for the W.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.